Hello students, I am Kumar. Welcome to all of you at my YouTube channel Social Science Academy. In this video, we are going to discuss the question and answer of the chapter Establishment of Company Rule in India. So let us begin with the first question, multiple choice question. The first question is, where is Fort William located? So Fort William was located at Calcutta. The Battle of Plassey was fought in the year, in which year? 1757. Which ruler was killed in the 4th Anglo-Mysore War? In the 4th Anglo-Mysore War, Tipu Sultan, who is also known as the Tiger of Mysore state, lost his life in the 4th Anglo-Mysore War that was fought in 1799. The first Governor General of British India was Lord Wellesley. This man led the British forces in 4th Anglo-Mysore War, in which Tipu Sultan lost his life. In which battle Siraj-ud-Dowlah was defeated by Robert Clive? So Siraj-ud-Dowlah was defeated by Robert Clive in Battle of Plassey in 1757. The answers of the fill in the blank question and match the following I have given. So you can mark of these answers. Now let us discuss the descriptive question. So first question is, which Portuguese explorer discovered the sea route to India? How did this mark the beginning of European era in India? So students, whenever you attempt your question, you will have to be careful that how many questions are there in the single question. Means here there are two parts. So first question is, which Portuguese explorer discovered the sea route to India? This is the first question. And how did this mark the beginning of European era in India? So Vasco da Gama was the man, Portuguese man, and he was a great explorer of his time, who discovered the sea route to India in 1498. This is the answer of first question. Now, it marked the beginning of European era in India because after this discovery, India became a popular destination for large number of European traders, adventurers and missionaries from England, Spain, France, Holland, etc. Means this Vasco da Gama discovered the India and Indian subcontinent. After that, Europeans came to know about India and its wealth, and then they started to move towards India. So that marked the beginning of the European era in India. Now, why did European trading companies set up trade centers in coastal areas? So coastal areas, let us see the map here. This is the map, and this is the coastal area of India. Here Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean, and this is Arabian Sea. So from here to here, this entire boundary is the trading coastal area. So why European set up their centers in this area? European trading companies set up trade centers in coastal areas so that they can export goods from India at cheaper rates and sell them in their country at higher prices. The coastal sea routes also made the trade easier and convenient. Means these coastal areas were very convenient for the trade because at that time the air route as well as the roadways were not as developed in comparison to today. So that was the main reason. Now let us move to the third question. Explain the policy of divide and rule adopted by the British. What was its impact on Indian princes? So and again here are two questions and you will have to answer both the questions. So first, divide and rule policy was a policy of the British in which they sowed the seeds of hatred among communities of Hindus and Muslims so that the Indian people could not be united and strong enough to fight with the Britishers. Means whatever the different communities were there in India, they started to sow the seeds of hatredness among those different communities. And what was its impact? As a result, Indian princes became puppets in the hands of Britishers because they used these various princes for their own benefit. Now, next question is, describe the causes and consequences of the First Carnatic War. The main cause of First Carnatic War was the conflict of imperialist interest between British and France. So, in this map we have already discussed. From here the Anglo-French rivalry started and the process of colonialism started from this area. So, what happened? It was fought to curb the growing power of each other. Means Britishers wanted to supersede this French people, and the France wanted to supersede this British people. It resulted into the early British dominance in Indian subcontinent from eastern coast. This war ended with Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. So this was the treaty which ended this First Carnatic War. How did the assumption of Diwani benefit the East India Company? So the assumption of Diwani benefited the East India Company because they got the power to collect revenue without any responsibility. So under this policy, the Britishers got right to collect revenues. Now, long answers. First question, how did East India Company become the imperial power in India? Explain. We have to explain it. So the East India Company became an imperial power to protect its trading interests from other European traders. It began as a trading company, took over political control and became the ruler of entire India. The aim of company was to gain monopoly of the entire trade in the East. The company came into conflict with the foreign traders and hence built up its own military and administrative departments. It became such a strong force that it took over the governance of Bengal, Madras, now this is called Chennai, and Bombay, now Mumbai. Gradually the trading company transformed into an auxiliary government and military power that ended only in 1858 when the crown rule was established in India. So this is the explanation of this how the East India Company became the imperial power in India. Now next question, what is meant by dual government? What do you mean by dual government and how did it lead to public suffering? Another question which has two parts, so we will have to be careful here. First part, answer of first part, dual government was a unique feature of administration during the colonial rule in India. Under this system, the company took the right to control army, judiciary and revenue. So these, under this dual government, these departments were with the Britishers and here was no responsibility. On the other hand, the Nawab looked after the administration and need of the people. Means every responsibility was given to the Nawab but without earning, and every earning was there with the Britishers but without responsibility. So this is the nature of dual government. This arrangement gave the immense power to the British without any responsibility, but the general public suffered. Now, thousands of people died in Bengal famine in 1770, but the company did not help the victims and Nawab did not have the resources. Means what happened? The company was having huge money as they collected revenue from various regions. So they were having money but they were not willing to help the people. Nawab was willing to help the people but he was not having the money. So in this way the general public suffered. Now, the Battle of Buxar was a turning point in India. Give arguments to support the statement. We will have to support this statement. The Battle of Buxar, which was fought in 1764, was a turning point in Indian history because the East India Company's victory in this battle established British colonial rule in Bengal Presidency and subsequent expansion of British control all over India. Now, the battle was fought between the East India Company, led by Major Hector Munro, and the armies of Mir Qasim, Shah Alam II, Mughal Emperor, and Sujau-Dawla, Nawab of Awadh at Buxar. Means two teams were playing here. The first team led by Captain Hector Munro, and the second team was the coalition of three parties, that is the Mir Qasim, Shah Alam II, who was a Mughal emperor, Sujau-Dawla, that was Nawab of Awadh, and they fought at Buxar in 1762. So the battle was beneficial for the expansion of the power of the East India Company. It gained the rule and Diwani, the right to collect the revenue from Bengal, which was included also Bihar and Odisha, then Bihar and Odisha. Now, what is the importance of Battle of Plassey? Following are the importance of Battle of Plassey. The first one is, after this battle, means which was fought in 1757, the company made Mir Jafar the puppet Nawab, but the real administration was in the hands of company. Now, second is, the company could do fortification easily after the Battle of Plassey. British won because Mir Jafar betrayed his Nawab without participating in the war, so that he can be the next Nawab. As a result of the Battle of Plassey, the French were no longer a significant force in Bengal. In 1759, the British defeated a larger French garrison at Masulipatam, securing the northern supply. So these were the consequences of Battle of Plassey, and these are important. So that's all in this chapter. This is the last video of this chapter. I hope you have got the ideas about the questions and answer, and how you will have to deal with the various types of questions. So keep studying, and one request is there: if you are liking this video, please smash on like videos and subscribe it, so that whenever I will upload the new video, new chapters, new items will be there. You can easily access it, and just smash on subscribe, like button. Thanks. Keep watching. Thank you. Have a nice day.